Hey makers, this is Dhruvin and welcome to PowerApps App in a Day step-by-step tutorial series. You are watching 4th episode of this series, and in this episode I'm going to talk about Power Automate integration with PowerApps. Yes, we built entire our Canvas application, model-driven application, and we talked about the Dataverse as well in our previously 3 episodes. If you haven't gone through those episodes, the links are available in the description box. In those episodes, we build the complete application end to end. Now, after building the application, sometimes we have a requirement where we need to integrate the Power Automate flow for some automation purposes. Let's say we want to send the email notification, or let's say for an example, we want to send a machine order for an approval to the manager. At that time, we need to use Power Automate in order to achieve this requirement. Now, what is Power Automate? What kind of flows you can create inside the world of Power Automate? Along with that, what are the use cases around that? We'll talk about that. Also, we will create one complete Power Automate flow from scratch where we will build and establish the approval mechanism as well for our requirement. So without further delay, let's get started. But before that, wait. 70% of you are watching my content but do not press even like button or subscribe button. It's free for you. Please help me, and please help me to motivate me to create such a content, because when you hit thumbs up or you subscribe my channel, basically behind the scene YouTube pushes the video to the more and more people, and that will ultimately helping me or encouraging me for my better analytics, and I can create such an amazing content after this one. Also, after this app in a day's successful series, I am going to planning to make a Power Pages in a day series. Tell me in the comment section, do you really need this series? If you need, just make sure you hit thumbs up and subscribe the channel. Also, if you haven't followed me on my Twitter and Instagram account, do follow me, because these are the platform where I'm uploading short content on Power Platform. Or if you are looking for any paid training which is going through my company, you can always check it out description box for the latest training. Our PowerApps training program lined up for this particular month, so you can enroll it now for that. Alright, so let's get started by talking about what is Power Automate and what are the things which you can achieve over here with that. First of all, let me talk about what Power Automate as a product do for you. Power Automate is basically called as a Microsoft flow, which is useful for the process automation. Now, what do we mean by the process automation? Let's try to understand that. There are different type of cloud flows you can create over here. You just need to open make.powerautomate.com, and basically it will redirecting you to this screen. When you click on create button, you are having the different type of flow options over here. Let's take a quick overview that what this flow can do for you. So first of all, the first type of flow is automated cloud flow. So basically it is triggered by a designated event, which means that let's say sometimes you have a requirements where as soon as some activity is happening, let's say new Dataverse record is created, or maybe new SharePoint list item is created. After that, you immediately want to notify the user. At that time, you can use the automated cloud flow. Sometimes you have a scenarios like, okay, you have seen many times that when you are going or performing any banking transaction, right? As soon as you finish the transaction, you are getting an SMS that, okay, your amount is credited with this amount or debited with this amount, right? So what is that? This is an example of automated flow where something is happened, something should trigger. This is called as automated cloud flow. Second one is instant cloud flow, and which is called as a manual flow as well. Sometimes we need a capability when the flow or the process should be triggered only when you want it, which means that you click on some button or you are clicking on some of the action. At that time only the next step of execution should be triggered. It is called an instant flow. Let me give you a very simple example of instant flow. Like, okay, you are having PowerApps, okay, and in PowerApps you are having the button sending an email, or maybe you have a button called create the record, right? And what you want is when you click on that button, only at that time it should trigger. Or maybe on your Microsoft Flow mobile application, you have one kind of flow which should give you the temperature detail, and you want that to be happen only when you click on the button. What is that? It is nothing but an instant flow, which is a manual flow. Okay. Third type of flow available into this bucket is schedule flow. Now, what do we mean by schedule flow? Sometimes you are having some repetitive task that you are performing on a day-to-day basis. Let's say for an example, you have seen many times an example of an insurance company and all, right? What they are doing, like before 15 days or before 10 days, they are sending you the reminder, right? Like 10 days to renew your policy, right? So what is behind the scene. For that, the events are scheduled behind the scene. Basically, it will look at your entire list and check that, okay, today how many things are going in a renew position, or how many days left for the renewal, and depending on that, it club together and sending you those things. So when you have a requirement that at specific time of interval on a day you want to schedule your overall process or flow, you can use the schedule cloud flow. Okay, then these are some AI based flow. So again, it's not a type of flow. It's just like, okay, it is providing the AI capability where you write a description and you can just create a flow. Power Automate Desktop Flow is basically useful to automate the processes on your desktop environment. This is useful for RPA or robotic process automation. Again, this is a very big product set. Again, like in Power Automate Cloud Flow and Desktop Flow. So this is falling another desktop flow categories. Okay, and it can do lots of things over there. And the same thing, you are having process mining as well, where you can evaluate your processes. Okay, so this is the basic idea about the cloud flow over here. Okay, now what we want to go achieve here, let's talk about that. Okay, so in our previous classes, what we have done is we just created our solution called Contoso Coffee, right? And in the Contoso Coffee, we created two PowerApps application. One is Canvas application and another is model driven application. Now let me do one quick thing here is, let me just play the Canvas application over here for you guys to just do a quick revision. Now let's say here I am having the play button and I am just playing my Canvas application over here. Okay, and this is what we have achieved in the previous example. Now let's say for an example, I am just comparing these two products over here from the list that we built in the previous classes, and let's say I'm clicking on compare two items. As soon as you do that activity and just adding that comment and submit the machine request, what I want is I want to send this information for an approval. Okay, approval, it means this person we want to send for an approval. If that person is approving, only at that time it should be considered as approve. Otherwise, it should be treated as a rejected one. Okay, this kind of thing I want to do as soon as you place the order. Okay, so how can we implement this overall information over here? Let's have a quick look around that. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, to create the Power Automate flow, we will use the same solution Contoso Coffee approval that we have created in an app in a day environment over here. We will create our cloud flow inside the solution itself. And to create the cloud flow, you just need to click on new button from here, and there is an option automate. And when you click on automate, you have an option cloud flow. Just expand that. And there you have three type of flow options available, which I just explained to you as a part of theory. Automated, instant and scheduled. Now how my requirement is? My requirement is I want to send the email automatically as soon as the machine request has been submitted by the user. Okay, so which one I will pick up from here? I will pick up the automated from here. So let's pick up the automated cloud flow from here. As soon as you pick up that particular flow, we just need to start creating the flow. So it will simply open up this kind of pop-up where you just need to provide the name of the flow. So I'm providing the name of the flow as new machine approval request. Okay, and now let's click on skip. And first, we will talk about one base terminology of cloud flow. So whenever you are creating any automated cloud flow, the first action of your flow will be your trigger. Okay, so the first element that you are adding on your flow is called as a trigger. So over here, what would be your trigger? Just think in a natural way that, okay, when my item is created into Dataverse, at that time it should be triggered, right? So probably Dataverse can become your trigger. So let's select the Dataverse from here. As soon as you select the Dataverse, you are able to see trigger and action. Trigger means what would be the point where your cloud flow should start, and action means what next set of action you want to execute. Okay, now in one cloud flow you can have only one trigger. You cannot have multiple trigger in one flow. Remember that thing. Okay, now I am simply selecting one thing from here, which is when a row is added, modified or deleted, I want to trigger this flow. As soon as you add that thing, it will try to sign in to create a connection into Microsoft Dataverse. So this is the thing, like in Power Automate, whenever you are using any action, by default, it will start creating the connection behind the scene with the current logged in user. So now over here I need to check that, okay, when you want to trigger your flow, you want to trigger it on when item is added or added, deleted or added or modified. So I just want like, okay, whenever we are creating it, I just want to trigger it. So I'm just adding the change type as added. Now we need to provide the table name. So over here I will just provide our table that we created for this overall app development, machine order table. And scope is something we need to provide here, like organization scope. And you already know the schema and structure for this particular flow, because this is the part of app in a day series, and in second episode itself we created this complete table, complete schema, so you are aware about this table. Okay, if you don't know, probably just check out the description box and go to the second episode for whole table creation part. Okay, now I'm again providing the name of my flow over here simply, and let's add a next step. Now next step is, as soon as it add, I want to send it for an approval. Okay, so in the world of Power Automate, if you want to send any item for an approval, there is one action available called approval. Search for approval. As soon as you search for an approval, you will be able to see an approval connector over here. Let's talk about that. Click on approval, and as soon as you do that, it will having 4 different actions available. From this, let's say I want start and wait for an approval, because I don't want to execute the next set of action until and unless user is approving that thing. So I will select start and wait for an approval over here. Let's select that. As soon as you select this particular activity, again this will start creating a connection behind the scene so that it to be created. And approval type, let's select the approval type. So I am selecting from this particular list is approve, reject. And you just want to wait for all the responses, or you just want to wait for one responses, you can select any option from here. So let's say for an example, my case, it's not that much of complex. Okay, I just want that, okay, if anyone is responding from my approver, they can just coming out of the loop. So I'm just selecting from here approve, reject, first to respond. Let's select that, and then let's click on next. Here we need to provide the title. So what would be the title for an approval action? So I'm selecting here the new request for, let's provide here from dynamic content machine name. So user will get a notification with new machine request for which machine. Okay, that's it. Assign to, which means that to whom it should be assigned. It should be assigned to the approver, right? So search for an approver. So this is called as a dynamic content in the Power Automate. So whenever you click on this one from the previous action, whichever output properties are there, it will be showing over here. This is technically called as a dynamic content. Now over here, I am just selecting approver. So this will basically add the approver. Now here you just need to provide the details that, okay, what kind of information you want to send with your approval request. So I'm just typing here a content, a new machine request has been requested. Let's hit enter. First let's provide the machine name. So I'm just provide machine name, and then comma after that, and I want to add $sign, and after that probably I just wanted to add some sort of price as well for this machine. So let's add that. Then probably I need like a departmental contribution. I mean, if there is any departmental contribution in dollar, then probably we can just have it departmental contribution $, and I mean it is just a couple of fields we are just adding as a part of the context. Okay, so let's cut here and let's add into detail. Just hit enter and add that. Okay, item link, I'm not adding anything over here. And maybe let's say if there are any comments, probably let's add that as well, comments, and I'm searching here as well for comments. Okay, and this is how I just created the detailed message over here. Okay, it's fine if you're not even adding this information, it's just an optional field. Okay, so I'm just adding here just to make the email better. Okay, let's save up to this point. Okay, so the flow has been saved successfully. Now as a next step, I just want that, okay, it start and wait for an approval. After that, what if it is approved and what if it is reject? Okay, so I will add one condition over here. Let's add condition. If you go to the control node, here you will be able to see the condition. So here you can write your if condition, and this previous action start and wait for an approval is returning one property called outcome. Okay, search for outcome property and just add if outcome is equal to approve, then what you want to do. So you need to add that in your yes condition, and if it is reject, then what you want to do, you can do that into your rejection action. So basically this property outcome will provide you from the previous step whether it is approve or reject. Okay, now simply what I want is when it is approved, I want to update my Dataverse table with the status that okay, it's updated or it's approved or it's rejected. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just adding one action, Dataverse, and I will add an action, update a row. Search for that update, and as soon as you find that, you will be able to see update a row. Let's select that. I'm selecting this. So first of all, here you just need to provide your table name. So here I'm just providing, click here and search for machine orders. So search here for machine orders. It's very little bit tricky. Machine, let me select that, machine orders, right? And then row ID is you need to provide. So what is row ID in the world of Dataverse? It's nothing but the same name as a table. Okay, so search here in the dynamic content for machine order. Okay, and you will be able to find this uniquely identifier for entity instances. This is nothing but a row ID of it. Okay, so when a row is added, modified or deleted as from your trigger, you are already getting that property. That's something you need to supply. So let's apply machine order. Click on show advanced option and let me just add a approval status. So when you click on approval status, it will just load the drop down like approve or reject. So I just want to make it approve. That's it. And approval date column is also there, that where it is approved. So probably here I just provide the current date and time. So for that I will just click on here and go to the expression and start typing an expression UTC now. Okay, and simply click on OK to add that thing. So we are just doing that activity. Perfect, looks good to me. Now on reject, we just need to do opposite of this. Okay, so let's copy this action, copy to my clipboard. Let's go here in else part, go to my clipboard from here and paste this out. Okay, and as soon as you do that, this is being pasted over here completely. But remember, we need to do couple of changes over here. Okay, so row ID is fine. Click on show advanced option, and over here instead of approve, what we need a reject. Okay, so let's do the reject, and that's it. Okay, let's save up to this point. Alright, and now what we do as a next step is simply we will test this thing end to end for ourselves, and after that we will add some more additional action as well within the same one. So we will add send an email action. Along with that, we will add some sort of Teams notification as well. We will enhance that flow a little bit more. But you know, in Power Automate, just do a little part first, test up to that point whether it's working fine or not, then do the next set of actions. Okay, now we are done with that. We saved it. Let's go back, and for the testing, what we'll do is simply let's create open our application. So I am opening my application machine ordering app, and let's try to create the record first. And as soon as that record will be created, you will be able to see the flow run triggering in your stuff, and you will be able to test that out. Okay, so I opened the app. Meantime, let me do one more thing, that this is my cloud flow that we just created, right? Click on that and click on details in a new tab. Okay, now what happens is basically whenever you are testing your Power Automate flow, you will be able to see this as a run history. So you will exactly know that okay, your flow is triggered yet or not. All this information you can always capture for yourself. Okay, so I'm just opening my flow as well parallelly over here, which we just created, and you can see that right now I do not see any run history at this moment. 28-day run history is blank. Okay, and now what I'm doing, simply creating one order from here and see how it looks like. Okay, so what I'm doing, simply I'm just picking up one of the commercial coffee makers from here. I'm just picking up Airport Light, and probably I will choose another one is let's say Airport Excel. Let's compare these two. So here I do have both of this. Okay, and maybe I'm just want to order the Airport Excel. Okay, and I'm just providing that I want to order Airport Excel. perfect. And this is requested by, perfect. And let's click on create machine order. As soon as you do this activity, behind the scene, your order will be created and you are getting at least this message over here. Now we just need to wait for email to be triggered over here and need to see whether my Power Automate flow is triggering or not. And you can see on the fly itself, 1 second ago, it just started executing. Okay, so see, it started executing. Now let me click on flow run over here and see which action it is being executing. So let's click on that. And you can see when a row is added, modified or deleted, that is already been executed over here and it is in a position to execute this start and wait for an approval. Now remember one thing, when you are executing this flow for the very first time in your environment and executing this action, approval action, basically it will taking around some time, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Why? Because behind the scene it is installing some packages for the first time. From second time onwards it will not take that much of time. But if your environment is very fresh, okay, at that time approval action will take some time. So just wait for that, be relaxed, take a 5-minute break and come back over here. Okay, so let's wait for few moments to execute this, and as soon as this is executing, probably I should receive an email notification as well to my mailbox. So let's wait for that. And here I am. See, surprisingly it didn't even take much time. I just got an email as well. Perfect. So super fast. Excellent. Right? And now you can see it is showing me this kind of approval card in the email itself, that okay, new machine requested for commercial coffee maker, and my product name is showing over here, requested by Dhruvin. A new machine has been requested, its machine name, okay, departmental contribution, comments, blah blah blah. Most of the things are having over here like this. Okay, now over here in the email itself you are having approve button as well as the reject button over here. Okay, so from email itself you can approve or reject, and during that time you can add your comment as well if you want. Okay, second important thing is that this is one way of approving thing. Okay, with that they should get a card in the Teams as well when you use the approval action. So let me open up the Teams. So I'm just opening my Teams over here. So I just opened the Teams, and if I look at the activity stuff, you can see that it is showing me this kind of notification. Dhruvin Shah sent you a request, and when you click on that, basically it will start loading that card over here, approval card. And from this approval app as well, you can see it is requested by Dhruvin, and now it is responding for a response. And over here as well, you can approve and reject. Okay, so this is another way of approving the reject of same application. Okay, now you can do the similar thing with the flow portal as well. So when you open make.powerautomate.com, let me just open this up quickly, make.powerautomate.com, and in that as well you are having the approval center from where you can approve and reject the request as well. So here I have opened my Power Automate approval center, and over here you can see this is my approval section. So over here as well you are able to see the approval request. So let's click on that, and here I am. See, over here as well the same request is showing, and from here you are just approving or rejecting whichever you want. You can do it, and when you open this up on the left hand side it will show you entire preview. So the same request is appearing at the 3 different places for an approval. Okay, now it's up to you. It is just because you used approval as an action inside your Power Automate flow. Simple. Okay, now we don't want to waste much time here. Let's approve this. So see, your flow is still under execution mode over here, right? It didn't come out of the loop. As soon as I respond it as Dhruvin, it will go to this condition over there. Okay, let's see. So now I'm approving from email, and I'm just adding the comment over here like approved, all good. Okay, as an approval. You can type in the email itself, okay, and click on submit. As soon as you submit this, this request is approved. Okay, and now let's look at the flow and see, immediately it just came out of this. It waited for 4 minutes because requester didn't approve it. Okay, and it just go to the condition, and let's see if I'm going here, it just updated a row after that. Okay, so this is the activity it has done. So far it looks good to me, it looks promising to me. Okay, and even when you look at your model driven application, so let's say I'm going here and try to play my procurement application which we have built again in the previous episode, and let's check my status is updated or not there. Okay, so I'm just trying to play this application, which is model driven application, and you can see here approval status column for myself over here. Okay, and let's say if I'm just filter it out by newer to older, so see, this is the one airport XL which I have ordered, right? And you can see it's being approved over here. So this is completely fine. Perfect. Now let's enhance our flow a little bit more. So let's say I'm going back to my flow. Let me click on edit button over here. And when you open your flow again, you can see a slightly user interface is being changed. It is because it just opened the modern UI for flow development. Sometimes what happen here is, guys, if you are opening the flow way from your solution, first time it is opening that into classic mode. But again, you have a switch to turn it out into new designer as well. Here I prefer that, okay, classic designer is good, still good, but maybe in the future new designer is the future. So now we will edit the same flow with the new designer. It's almost same, but just a better interface. Okay, so let's try to test that out. Now my flow is open in the edit mode, and in the modern designer I'm just expanding this, and after update row I will add one more action of Microsoft Dataverse. Sorry, not Microsoft Dataverse. After updating a row, I want to send an email, so I will search for an email action. So many different actions are available. So one of the action is send an email. I'm just adding that send an email v2 action, and let's sign in with the current user's Outlook account. If you want to configure any specific service account from your organization for email action, you can do it for yourself as well. But I'm right now just picking up my account in order to create the connection for sending an email. So let it to be sign in, and then we just need to provide to whom we want to send an email notification. So for that, click on switch to advanced mode over here, and from here we just need to send an email notification to requested by that, okay, your machine request has been approval, and provide the subject. So here I'm just providing a static subject that, okay, your machine order has been approved, something like this. And now in body, let's provide some content. So let's say here as well, I'm just providing the same line, your machine order has been approved, and then probably let's just go to the dynamic content, and let's provide the machine name over here. Okay, so I'm just providing that. Apart from that, estimated ship date, let's provide that estimated ship date. So I'm just providing this, and let's search for that estimated ship date. So you are having that as well available. So you can pick it up from update row action, or you can pick it up from here. Any one of them will work. I'm just picking that up, and at the end, from this approval action, whichever summary is there, I can just print that as well. So I will search for the response summary from start and wait approval action. Let's just add here. So I'm just adding response summary as well over here. Okay, so this is my send an email action. Okay. Apart from that, I want to also notify them via Teams notification. Okay, already during approval they are getting notified via Teams as an approver. Okay, but as a user as well, I want to notify that particular user who has requested that, okay, your thing is approved. Okay, so if the person is working in the Teams interface itself, they will know that, okay, now my request is approved. Okay, so I will add one more action over here after that called Teams. Search for Microsoft Teams. I'm searching that. Okay, and over here there are many actions available, and one of the action is click on see more. So it will show all the options over here to you. Okay, and one of the option is post a message in a team or channel. Okay, let's select this, post message in chat or channel. Okay, now remember guys, make sure so far you follow along with me. If you haven't followed me so far, make sure you pause over here, finish up to this point, and then resume it. Okay, because I want everyone to perform this along with me. Obviously you will not match up the pace at this point because it's a YouTube video, it's a little bit faster. So make sure you take a time and perform up to this point. Okay, so over here, post a message in a Teams or a channel. This is what it is showing as an action. And now post as Flowbot, I want to keep it as is, and post in let's say I just want text chat with a Flowbot. I'm just picking up that, and then after that, I just need to provide the recipients. So I can switch to the advanced mode from here, and let's provide here from dynamic content like requester. So let's provide requester. Okay, so requested by, let's provide that. option, and let's provide the message. So I'm copying and pasting the same message. I'm copying from the email one and I'm just pasting the same message over here. I don't want to generate the separate message for it. Okay, simply fine. Let's save draft over here. So whenever you are opening the flow in the modern designer, you just save it as a draft and then you need to publish it out. Okay, versus in the classic designer you don't have a publish option because it's obviously not maintaining the version history and all. Okay, so this is the advantage of using the new designer over here. All right, now so we are done with at least this part. Now in the else part as well, we want to do the similar activity. What is the difference? The only difference is that instead of approve, it will be rejected, right? And this property, maybe we need to reconfigure it. Okay, but apart from that, almost same. So I'm just copy this completely from here, copy action. Okay, let's go here and let's paste this out. Okay, so when you paste this over here, okay, so let's copy the action, Control C, and if you go here, okay, and if you just do here somewhere, you just need to right click over here and then paste an action. And over here you can see paste an action option over here. Maybe right click it and it will just paste it out. Okay, so you can see it just pasted. And now here we just need to change the content little bit over here because this time the application is not rejected. So machine order has been, maybe instead of approve, let's make it as rejected. Perfect. And probably over here I can say has been rejected. Okay, let's change this property from here. Okay, so this machine name, now I can get it from update row 2 because it's an else part. Okay, so over here make sure you just click on this and maybe just add machine name again and estimated ship date again. Go to dynamic contents and let's search for estimated ship date. Okay, and requested by as well we need to change a little bit. Okay, so let's click here and search for requested by as well, which is properly coming up over here. Okay, so it's done. So at least this part is clear. All right, now save up to this point as well. So let's wait for saving this out. It's saved. And now let's add the next action. Same with the team section. So again, I will right click on this, copy this action, right click on this and paste an action. Okay, so it pasted this action as well over here. But again, instead of this entire message over here, I can just copy the message from the previous send any email one that we just did. Copy the entire message, go here and paste this out. Okay, so I'm just doing this. Let's click on save draft. And once you are done, just click on publish. Okay, so I'm just clicking on publish, but see it is throwing me an error. What error it is throwing me? Flow save failed. And you can see cannot reference the action updater row. Okay, so somewhere it is still picking up some references from updater row. Let's see what do we mean by that. Oh, last one. Okay, response summary. Okay, let's click on that as well probably. Okay, and over here as well, like let me just provide like response summary as well from start and wait for an approval. Okay, make sure that you do not have any references from the previous one. Okay, so at least right now it is looking good. Same way, let me check this out as well. So yeah, this is where it is, right? Requested by we didn't change here. So let's search here and talk about requested by from updater row 2. Okay, and here as well looks good, looks good, looks good. Okay, let's save this again, same draft. Okay, it's done. And now let's publish this out. So once you publish, it will just publish this flow. Let's do that. Will take some time to publish, and it's been published. And now we can test this out. Now how to test this out? Again, we don't need to create a separate entry. Flow is providing the amazing capability of the easy testing as well. So you are having test option. So just click on that and you always have the previous run available. So let's click on test button. And you know, when you taste it, it is showing whether we ran into the error validating your flow, blah, blah, blah. It is showing you that, right? So that's fine. It is throwing, and it is showing that failed to retrieve the dynamic content. It just showing me this particular error. Okay. And I'm not sure why it is suddenly started throwing up this particular error, because earlier as well we already tested, right? Working fine. Let's go back here. Maybe it's just because of classic flow and all. Okay, so you are able to see this flow has been deleted, this kind of messages. Don't worry about that. Okay, it can happen because we just opened it. If you find this similar problem, maybe it's just a matter that reopen your flow, that's it. Okay, so I'm just refreshing my solution over here again, and let's try to open the flow again. So I'm again going to the cloud flow from here and clicking on three dots again and clicking on edit in a new tab. Let's click on that. As soon as you do that, the flow will be opening like this way. Let's click on taste now. Okay, and click on automatically with the recent trigger which we have done earlier. Let's click on taste. Okay, so we don't need to wait for the full record creation process. Okay, so I'm just doing this and let's see what will happen. Okay, so the flow is running. Okay, it reached up to this point. Now we need to just wait for an approval. Okay, so approval can be coming in anywhere. Okay, so far we talked about the email one as well. Second time, let's check out this one. Okay, and you can see I get this one. Maybe let's click on that and see I received this one. Maybe from here, let me this time approve it. Okay, so I'm just like approved from Teams. Okay, and let's click on approve. Let's say I did this. Okay, it's approved. And as soon as you do this, flow is going to the next set of action. It sent an email as well, and it will post a message in the Teams or channel as well. Okay, let's see what kind of email I'm getting. Okay, so this is the out of the box email which was created by approval action, which was delayed a little bit, and you can see already it is showing that you have already approved because we already did that in the Teams. And on the other hand, I'm getting this email as well where this is the content that we have drafted and this is what we can have. You can change the date format and whichever thing you want. Okay, it's totally up to you, but this is how the email is also looking like. And at the same time, as a requester, I'm also getting the notification. Let's see, I'm getting one chat message, and in workflow tab I can just get that, okay, it is approved and blah blah blah, this is the information, right? So our flow is executing perfectly and it is working absolutely fine the way I want it, right? Isn't it cool? So this is the last part of this particular series which I wanted to cover, the Power Automate integration with PowerApps, right? Hope this video is helping you and valuing your time. So that's it for today, but it's not ended here. It's your taste time. It's a quiz time. You need to answer your quiz question answer in the chat window. So at least I will know that how many of you have tried to attempt this particular questions. So the first question is, what are the three main type of cloud flow in the Power Automate? Option A, B, C, and D. You can just read out on your screen and just answer me out. Question number 2. Which type of flow is triggered by an event such as an arrival of an email or a social media that is mentioned? A, B, C, or D. Schedule, automated, instant, or manual. It's an easy one. Okay, on that as well we perform our entire exercise, so make sure you give the correct answer to me. And the third one is to check if approval request was approved or not. What would you add to your flow logic? A, B, C, and D. Just read out the option by pausing the screen and just answer me in the chat window. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Looking for any kind of paid consultation or any kind of paid training, check out my website link over here, www.powerplatformtrainings.com, where you can find the latest information for upcoming training programs. Mostly once in a quarter, we are having our live classes for PowerApps, Power Automate, Power BI, Copilot Studio, and much more. So do check it out for website, or maybe contact through the website, so you will always get it more information from there. Okay, with this is Dhruvin signing off, and tell me in the comment section what you want to see as a next. Do you want to really see the Power Pages in a Day video series? Then tell me in the comment section. Okay, so see you all in my new training program very soon. Till then, have a great day ahead. Goodbye.